Okay, Namaste Ritu, Namaste Bhavna. Please turn on your
नमस्ते सर।
Namaste Ritu. Namaste
सर
Imanshi.
नमस्कार। सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार। नमस्कार। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकारेषु सर्वदा वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचारूढमर्दिनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामय नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. So, last session we listened to Gurudev from verse 6 to verse 10. So, we'll continue our reading of verses. So, though we recited the verse 11, I'm going to redo it today. Namaste, Shalini. So, 11 verse says, this is the first time until now. First chapter has gone, and first 10 verses of chapter 2 are also finished. And up to now, it was only Arjuna who was explaining his plight, right? So, this is the first verse ever until now that Lord Krishna is beginning to talk. I'll reread the verse. It says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Ashochan, Ashochanas Tvam, Pragya Vadansh Bhasase, Gatasun Gatasun, Na, na, Nanu Shochati Pandita, which means you have grieved for those that should not be grieved for, yet you speak words of wisdom. The wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. So that's the meaning of the verse in its English translation. The commentary of this verse by Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda is so potent that each and every line in this entire commentary is so infused with potent meanings. So I'm going to read it today, and I will stop where I think I need to stop because, and I think we might take few weeks to complete this verse.
सर विच
Probably.
पेज?
Page 71.
71।
So it says, so now Gurudev is, this is Gurudev is saying. So now it is the entry of Lord Krishna in the scene and is beginning to talk, right? So having listened to Arjun, and now Lord Krishna is beginning to intervene with him. So he's beginning to intervene. So this is Gurudev is saying that when we rightly diagnose Arjuna's dejection, it is not very difficult for us to realize that though its immediate cause is the challenge of the God. Immediately. So what does it mean? What is if you relate it with your own selves? We find the, life situation. Just 1 minute. So here, Lord Krishna, so what I was saying is like, if you see ourselves, that we get affected by our life situations every now and then, isn't it? So Lord Krishna is saying, though its immediate cause is the challenge of the war, because he's facing a war, so immediate cause appears to be the war, which means the immediate cause of our sufferings that we suffer in day-to-day life seems to be the life situations that we face every day. Okay? His condition of mental torture is only a symptom of a deeper disease. So when we are suffering and complaining about it, these are all symptoms of a disease. So our suffering that we experience on day-to-day basis, that is not the disease itself. That is a symptom of it. Just as a true doctor will try to eradicate a disease not by curing the symptoms, but by removing the cause of the disease. Okay? So this is where the difference is. The modern science or modern medicine, entire focus of modern medicine is to help you with removing or curing the symptoms of the disease. They never pay attention to the cause of the disease. But Sanatan philosophy or thinking has never been to provide a band-aid type solutions to our situations, but work on curing it so that you are not now, but forever relieved or relieved of all your miseries. That is the intention of Gita. So Gita is not giving you one-to-one counseling because you have got an argument and fight with your husband. It is going to give you a solution so that no matter how many arguments and fights you may have in future, but you will never get affected by it. That's the idea here. So too here, Lord Krishna is trying to remove the very cause of Arjuna's delusion. So he realized that Arjun is deluded. He is, that seems to be the cause. So he said the pure ego rises. Listen to it very carefully. It says the pure ego rises the ego rises when the pure self is not recognized. Though we are pure self, we are Brahm, according to the Mahavakya. Aham Brahmasmi, it says. That is from Taittiriya Upanishad. It says, Aham Brahmasmi, meaning I am Brahm. I am that pure self that is talking about here. Though I am pure self, but I am unable to apprehend it. I can't see it. And because I can't see it, I superimpose an idea upon the reality, upon the pure self. So I superimpose an idea that I think I am. Try to understand it. I am pure self. But I think I am a limited being. So the ego rises when the pure self is not recognized. This deep-seated ignorance is in man not only veils his divine nature from himself, but also projects on the reality a positive miscomprehension. So two things happen. Not only that we don't recognize our divine nature, our own divine nature, what we refer to as Brahma. So Brahma is my divine nature. That is my divine personality. That is who I really am. But not only that, I'm not recognizing it. I am superimposing a positive misconception on it. So egocentric idea that he is conditioned by his own body, mind, and intellect, is the true seed of Arjuna's delivery attachment with his own relations and the consequent deep compassion that has arisen in his bosom to make him so impotent and helpless. So when you identify yourself to be the body, mind, or intellect, so long as this identification lives in your mind, so long as you believe that you are the body, you are the mind, and you are the intellect, so long as you will continue to suffer the tyranny of these three instruments. Whatever are the aches and pains that your body is going through, whatever change and modification this body is going through, we will continue to suffer those changes. Why? Because I think I am the body. So long as I hold this thought in my mind and continue to identify myself with these three instruments, I will continue to suffer, like Arjuna is. The grief and dejection are the price that delusion demands. So when you are a delusion, we are deluded, and all of us are in that state of delusion. Why? Because we are conditioned by our body, mind, and intellect. So delusion is a state of our being. So that demands grief and dejection. So grief and dejection are the price that the delusion demands from its victim. So we all are the victim of our delusion. Hence, we will continue to experience grief and dejection. So, to discover ourselves to be really something higher than our own ego. So, what is ego? Ego is non-apprehension of reality. So, when I do not apprehend, so whatever my sharir, mana, buddhi goes through, my body, mind, and intellect goes through, whatever functions body, mind, and intellect perform, I have this vanity and I say, oh, this is me. I am doing it. I am breathing. I am seeing. I am hearing. I am tasting, touching, smelling. So then so long as this I-ness is there, that is called ego. I am doing it. I have done it. I am going to kill this one, according to Arjuna. So that is called delusion. So rediscover ourselves to be really something higher than our own ego is to end all the sorrows that have come to us through our false identification. So solution is given. Solution is given here to discover ourselves to be really something higher than our own ego. So if we can turn our attention to discover our own real nature, and the moment you discover your own real nature, all the sufferings that we are going through in life will end, completely end. Not only it will end, you will never have any subsequent aches and pains in your life ever. Because all the sufferings that we experience is because of our false identification. Okay. So thus the eternal spirit in man asserting its false relationship with his body comes to feel bound by 1,000 relationships with the world of things and beings. The same perfect principle of in life, playing on the field of mind, comes to experience the imperfections of the emotional world as its own. Again, the divine spark of life, as it often does, a false identity with the intellect, comes to sob and suffer for its hopes and desires. Its ambitions, and ideologies, which are the characteristic preoccupation of the intellect. So whatever is the function of sharir man buddhi. So what is the function of sharir? Sharir, when I say sharir, body, we are particularly making reference to the sense organ. So what is the function of the sense organ? The sense organs perceive the objects in the world outside. Of perception of objects is the function of sense. The mind feels the emotions. And the intellect thinks the thoughts, the ideas that you have. So all these three things, the perception, the emotions, and the thoughts. So whatever impact these things has on me, I will continue to suffer them. The self, thus getting reflected in the intellect, the body, and the senses, is the ego. So when Brahma, when it reflects through Sharir Mana Buddhi, is called ego. So ego is nothing but self functioning through body, mind, and intellect. To this ego belong all the sad destinies of life as well as its fleeting thrills of acquisition and possessions. The ego in Arjuna suffered a neurosis goaded by its own delusions and consequent misapprehensions. Krishna, in his infinite wisdom, knew that. Now, this sentence is very powerful. Listen to it very carefully. So, Krishna, in his infinite wisdom, knew that misapprehension of reality can take place only of its pitiable non apprehension. When I am not able to see my own real self, only then I mistake it or mistake my identity with my body. The cause of misapprehension is non-apprehension. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very simple. Because I cannot see the rope, I misapprehend it for the snake. If I could see the rope, I would have no misapprehension. You can't have both these things together. You can't have apprehension of reality and misapprehension of unreal. It is not possible. You can only have one thing at a time. Unfortunately, most of us have misapprehension of our real nature. Why? Because I cannot apprehend my real nature. That is the reason. ये ऐसे होता है जैसे मैंने अभी शायद एक दो हफ्ते पहले भी ये एग्जांपल दिया था कि when you see these modern cameras and when you try to focus these modern cameras on an object, that object appears very clear through the lens, and the entire background behind the object becomes blurred. You can't see it. But if you shift the focus of your camera to the background, so background becomes, vivid and clear, and the face becomes blurred. Because you can't have both those things focused at the same time. Either you focus the object or the background, or background and not the object. So in the same way, because we are so engrossed with our misapprehension and wrong identification and understanding myself to be the body, mind, and intellect, so long as I remain in that state of awareness, I will not be able to see my real nature. So in order to see my real nature, I must turn my attention of my mind inward. And that is the technique that is described later on in the entire Gita. So we will go through it. Okay. So it says, the Krishna in his infinite wisdom knew that the misapprehension of reality can take place only because of a pitiable non-apprehension of reality. Therefore, to cure the very source of Arjuna's delusion, Krishna is here teaching him the cream of knowledge, as declared in the immortal books of Hindus, the Upanishads. So Gita is actually is a condensed version of all the Upanishads. Whatever is Gita talking about, these topics, these subject matters are discussed in various Upanishads that are available to us. So nothing in Gita is outside of Upanishads. That's why, see, when the chapter finishes, I don't know whether you've noticed it. There is a At the end of every chapter there is a verse. It says, Om Tad Tad Sad Iti Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Anuvad Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathama Udhyayaha. So Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishad Su Brahma Vidya. So it's the science of self. Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra means the science and the technology of gaining that Brahma Vidya. How do you realize your own way? That is a technique. So it is not only just giving you the science. It's not just telling you what it is. It is also is giving you the technique that you can apply to gain that Brahma Vidya. And then it is basically the chapter, name of the chapter is given, which is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is chapter 1. Okay. So a re-education of mind through metaphysical and psychic method is the last word in psychotherapy, which the East gave it to the world many thousand years ago. Krishna starts his entire Gita lesson. Now the treatment is starting. It's called Gita technique, or Gita lesson, with this attempt at the re-education of Arjuna. True to that traditional cultural concept of education here, the great master Sri Krishna starts his instructions to Arjuna with a direct discourse upon eternal reality. So now he's going to discuss about what eternal reality is, what that Brahma is, what is the nature of Brahma. So that discourse is going to start now. The inner equipment of both Bhishma and Drona through allowed through them a glorious expression of life principle or the soul in them. These great men were incomparable due to this divine shine that beamed out through them. In this clashing of weapons, to consider that the cultural soul of Bhishma will be wounded, or that the life of Drona, the master archer and the military genius, will be ended, is a delusory concept of an uninitiated intellect. So, what the message is, when these physical vestures, the stool body, the material body perishes, the Atma in this body does not perish with it. The Atma continues its journey as it has been traveling from trillions of years from the past it is right now in you. And when this body perishes, the Atma will continue. Atma is not going to die. Atma remains. So the actual introduction of Bhishma and Drona is that Atma in them, not the physical body that they occupy. So the question is, do you think when these people are killed, their Atma will be killed? The answer is no, it won't be killed. So that distinction. So now he's giving that discriminating thought that all of us should contemplate over. That my real identity is this Atma, this Brahma in me, not this physical body that I am so attached to, so identifying with. Okay, so that is the message here. So this is it says, a delusionary concept of an uninitiated intellect. By this statement, Krishna has indicated to Arjun a greater self than the ego in every embodied. What it's saying is, the ego in me, there is a greater entity that I know. So all of us know ourselves, and
Sir, can't hear you. सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही. अभी भी नहीं आ रही. अभी बोलो कुछ. Nothing.
Even I
तो
can't
आ
hear.
रही है. ओह,
मुझे नहीं.
बाकी भी नहीं आ रही. सर किसी को भी नहीं आ रही.
चलिए चक्कर क्या है लेट मी
आ गई आ गई आ गई.
okay thank you I don't know some technical hitch so what did I say last
ये चक्कर क्या है.
नहीं when I was reading the book where was I but anyway I'll start so what it is saying is what God Krishna is saying is by this statement Krishna has indicated to Arjun a greater self than the ego in every embodied. Greater self. At every level of our personality, we view life and come to our own conclusion about things. Thus, we have a physical estimate of the world from the body level. Okay, so physically, when we see the word, we calculate a physical estimate of it, whether it is a good, bad, or ugly. That's called physical estimation. So when we contact the word through our sense organs, we gain a physical estimation. And when we gain that physical estimation with our mind, we make an emotional estimation of what we have gathered. Which is quite distinct from the emotional picture of life from the mental level, and also an intellectual concept of life that is from the level of the intellect. So when we are contacting the word, so we get three estimations. We get a physical evaluation of thing, emotional evaluation, and intellectual evaluation. So three things are happening. Physically, what I see as a woman is mentally my mother. Just try to understand. It's a very beautiful example. When I see a woman, physically, what I see a woman, physically, a lady is a woman, but mentally, she is my mother. And intellectually, the same sacred feminine form is a bundle of selves. Think about it. Physically, I see a figure of a woman. But because of my mental evaluation of this woman, she's my mother, so I'm emotionally connected to her. And when I logically think, scientifically think about this body, His body is not nothing but a bundle of cells. So it's a very crude evaluation, right? So each has its photoplasmic content in a cell. Each has a photoplasmic content in nucleus that presides over all its function. The imperfection that I see in a physical object will fail to give me misery. The imperfections that I see in a physical object will fail to give me misery. If I successfully guilt it with my emotional appreciation, if I successfully guilt it with my emotional appreciation, similarly, an object which is physically abhorrent and mentally shameful will still fail to provide me with any sorrow if I can appreciate it from my intellectual level. Right. So now it is trying to help us understand how to do. Hence, that which gives me despondency and dejection at the physical, mental, and intellectual levels can yield a thrilling inspiration if I review it from the spiritual level. So when I see it from the spirit, so what it's saying is, so when we evaluate the things outside from these three levels, physical, mental, and intellectual, we will get a very different evaluation of it. But the same things, if we see it from a spiritual perspective, then nothing will touch you. Nothing. So Krishna is advising Arjuna to renounce his physical, emotional, and intellectual estimates of his teacher and his grandsire and those of the whole battlefield problem, and to re-evaluate the situation through his spiritual understanding. This great and transcendental truth has been so suddenly expounded here that it has on Arjuna the stunning effect of a sudden, unexpected blast. Later on, we shall understand how this subtle psychophysical shock therapy did an unmeasurable good to the hysterical condition of Arjuna. Why do they deserve no grief? It is because they are eternal. How is that so? The Lord says. Okay, so that is the next verse starting. So far, that what Lord Krishna has explained is two things. Number one, the misapprehension is born out of non-apprehension. आपको ये बात समझ में आ रही है? मैं इसलिए बार बार ये पूछ रहा हूँ क्योंकि it took me some time to understand these terms. ये non-apprehension, misapprehension का क्या चक्कर है? So non-apprehension is my inability to see something. Misapprehension is I can see it, but I misconstrue it. I misunderstand it. I wrongly evaluate it. So एक जगह I am not able to see anything, which is non-apprehension. I have no ability to see anything. Second concept is I see, but I misunderstand it, mistranslate it, misdefine it, misconstrue it. So this miscomprehension is that I am the body. This is the miscomprehension. I am the mind. I am the intellect. So long as I believe myself to be these identities, these three identities are misapprehension, and it's a delusion. It's a result of delusion. Because I'm not able to see the reality, I superimpose unreal on it. And I believe myself to be the body. So that state of awareness is the fundamental cause of all the sufferings that you and I go through in our life. That is the cause. Because I'm identifying with wrong things in my life. So we'll continue. So the verse 12 reads, Na tvevaham jatu nasam na tvam neme janadhipaha na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamataha param. Okay, it means it is not that at any time, meaning in the past, indeed was I not, nor were you, nor were these rulers of men, nor verily shall we all ever cease to be thereafter. So he's referring to the Atma. So he's talking about the Brahma. So that's what he's explaining. It's not that I never was. It means that I ever existed and I will continue to remain. When I say continue to remain, it's referring to Atma, the Brahma, that element, that reality of us, that our reality is ever existent and it will continue to do so, irrespective of how many bodies you assume or take and how many bodies you leave. The Atma shall never die. It never dies. Atma continues to survive. It lives forever. That is the point which is being stressed upon in this verse. So Krishna here declares in unequivocal terms that the embodied self in everyone is set on a great pilgrimage in which it comes to identify itself with the various forms temporarily to gain a limited but determined set of experiences. So, because of this identification, from the day I am born to the day I will die, this identification will give me the experiences that I gain in my life. He says that neither himself nor Arjun nor the great kings of the ages that have assembled in both armies were mere accidental happenings. They do not come from nowhere and at their death do not become mere non-existent nothingness. So the correct philosophical thinking guides man's intellect to the apprehension of the continuity from the past through the present to the endless future. So this is the first apprehension that we should have, that I, in my real form, in my real version, in my real personality, in my real identity, I have ever existed. So this ever existing nature of Brahma, which does not go through any change, any modification, any alteration, is never grows, never diseased, never decays, never dies. So things that never die is called Amrit. Okay? You have to register this term called Amrit. Amrit refers to the nature of Atma. Nature of Atma. Atma never dies. Hence it is called Amrit. Apart from Atma, everything else in the entire universe is Mrit, mortal. Amrit meaning immortal, the one which never dies. Amrit. तो जब कोई कहता है कि उनको तपस्या करके अमृत प्राप्त हुआ, अमृत कोई वो नहीं है, शेक नहीं है बोतल में जो आता है. इट्स नॉट ए ड्रिंक. पीपल अमृत अमृत पान किया उन्होंने, अमृत पान सुना है तुम लोगों ने ना, ये सब ये भाषा सुनते हैं हम लोग ना, जब कथा कहानियां सुनते हैं, पुरानी कथा कहानियां, तो वी हियर दीज वर्ड्स. उनको अमृत, उन्होंने अमृत पान किया, मतलब ही ड्रैंक अमृत. अमृत इज नॉट ए ड्रिंक. अमृत पान का मतलब होता है कि ही एप्रीहेंडेड द नेचर ऑफ ब्रह्म एंड रियलाइज्ड Brahm never dies, is beyond death. That is what it means. तो अमृत पान करने का मतलब होता है कि यू हैव इंटरनलाइज्ड द आइडिया दैट यू आर द ब्रह्म, एंड इन दैट यू विल नेवर डाई. तो अमृतत्व जो प्राप्त होता है, अमृत प्राप्त होने का मतलब होता है कि यू हैव रियलाइज्ड योर रियल नेचर. एक वो है ना बड़ा फेमस वर्स है, अब वो कहां से आया मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन ये पता इतना पता उसके रचयिता थे ऋषि मतंग. वो है ना जो जब लोग मरने वाले होते हैं तो महामृत्युंजय, सुना है आप लोगों ने महामृत्युंजय जाप? वो हाईली रिकमेंडेड, हाईली यूज्ड है समाज में. जब किसी की डेथ होने लगती है डॉक्टर कहता है अब तो इनको दवा की नहीं दुआओं की जरूरत है, टाइप्स जो स्थिति आती है ना, तो सब उनके कान के वहां पे वो लगा देते हैं महामृत्युंजय जाप. अब महामृत्युंजय जाप क्या है? ओम यजा क्या, ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे
सुगंधिम
सुगंधिम
पुष्टिवर्धनम
पुष्टिम वर्धनम उर्वारिकम
उर्वा
बंधनात् मोक्ष क्या
मृत्युर्मुक्षी
मृत्यु, हाँ मृत्युर्मोक्षिस वट एवर,
मामृता।
अमृता।
महामृता. तो यहाँ पे अमृता, अमृतात, अमृतात. सो जो इसका रचयिता है इस श्लोक का, वो भगवान शंकर से ये वरदान मांग रहा है कि मुझको अमृतत्व प्राप्त हो, है ना. अमृतत्व, अमृतत्व is basically nothing but self realization. When you realize that you are Brahm, that you are the Atma, you are that Paramatma, the moment you have this realization, the fear of death will disappear itself. Why? Because now you know you are that which never dies. Before that, you have a fear of death because you believe you are the body. Hence, you fear that body will die. So let body die. Who cares? So once you have this distinction in your mind, so actually the meaning of the verse is Om Trambakam Yajamai. I worship the three-eyed Lord. Trambakam, three-eyed Lord. I worship that Lord who has got three eyes. The middle eyes indicating for wisdom, knowledge of the self. The third eye of Lord Shiva. So he says, I worship that Lord who infuses this, the essence of life in me, Sugandhim, Pushtim Vardhanam, and who gives that nourishment to my life for me, for my life to sustain. Because of that, Brahma, my life is sustaining. This Sharir Man Buddhi is sustained by Brahma. So Sugandhim, whatever this, this body is functioning because of the blessings of that Lord. That is the meaning of उर्वा रुकमिव बंधनात्. इस बात का क्या अर्थ है? इस बात का ये अर्थ है उर्वा रुक. उर्वा रुक मतलब वो जो बेल वाले फल होते हैं ना, खीरा ककड़ी टाइप, वो जो फल होते हैं जो बेल में लगते हैं, खीरा ककड़ी इस तरह के खरबूजा टाइप, इनका क्या नेचर होता है? व्हेन दे आर रिपन, जब ये पक जाते हैं, व्हेन दे आर राइप, they will automatically detach from the creeper. They detach. That is the nature. So urva rukme vibandhana, जैसे खरबूजा या खीरा पकने के बाद आफ्टर गेटिंग राइप automatically detaches from the creeper, in the same way grant me moksha. That is what grant me moksha matlab bless me so that I can realize my real nature. So when you realize your real nature, the fear of death vanishes. So you become Amrit. So this is a journey from mortality to immortality. The Atma, the purpose of Atma, you become immortal. Why? Because you identify with what is immortal, which is Brahma, the Atma. So this is a transition of my identification, my understanding and clarity. As slowly, gradually, with your regular contemplation and thinking and practicing, as this identification grows in you, you will find that the intensity of your suffering is also dying away. The external world will become impotent or affectless to cause any injury to you or cause any suffering to you. Injury may be caused. If you fall or somebody pushes you, you may get injury, but you will not suffer the injury. Why? Because the injury is caused to the body, not to you. So you and the body begin to disintegrate, separate at intellectual level, not literally separate. There is nothing to be literally separating it. So my identification, my understanding about myself begins to grow as you keep contemplating on this idea that I am Brahma Asmi, I am the God, I am Brahma. As you contemplate, as you think over it, you will begin to see slowly, gradually, your identification, your attachment with the equipment, Sharir Man Buddhi, will begin to shift away. And when your spiritual maturity increases, you will also be able to apprehend your real nature. And then when you finally identify with it, then you become Brahma. Why? ब्रह्मविद ब्रह्मेव भवति एक वर्ष है कहीं आता है पता नहीं कहां आता है कहता है ब्रह्मविद द नोअर ऑफ ब्रह्म ब्रह्म एव becomes ब्रह्म भवति when you know का मतलब होता है it's not an intellectually knowing things. जैसे आप समाचार पढ़ते हो अखबार में मैगजीन में पढ़ते हो तो यू नो समथिंग इट्स नॉट दैट काइंड ऑफ नोइंग मतलब when you completely identify yourself with Brahman. That's what knowing means. When you apprehend your real nature, when you identify, when you know Brahman in that way, subjectively through direct experience, subjectively understanding Brahman and directly experiencing it. So knower of Brahma becomes Brahma. So then you cease to exist. It's very frightening, isn't it? अरे मैं क्या करूंगी फिर मैं कहाँ जाऊंगी if I cease to exist? So what would I happen to me? Will I disappear? No, nothing will happen. You will remain who you are. Like meaning your body, mind, intellect will continue, but your identification and your ego will die. So when you say I am XYZ, that I am XYZ will vanish. You will become Brahma. So your identity, physical, emotional, and intellectual identity will cease to exist. You are no more the body. Any thoughts? Any confusion? Do you have any questions in your mind while you're listening to me? If you have any questions in your mind, please speak. raise your hand and throw your question. Every question is important question. कोई भी question, none of the questions are unintelligent questions. So don't shy, don't hesitate. If you have any question in your mind or anything that you don't understand, please speak so that we can discuss and talk about it. क्योंकि आइडिया ये नहीं है कि इसको पढ़ पढ़ के अपना चैप्टर पन्ने पलटे जाए. We are not going to shift the pages. Any thought, any idea? Doesn't have to be a question. I'm sure you lot of you are getting confused about these things, these thoughts and ideas when we talk about it. So let me give you half a minute and hide my face. Now you can think. G. I think Shivani has got a question in her mind. So as Himanshi.
Sir,
G. Oh, Shilpa is the first. Okay, what is it?
matlab, I was thinking ki when we move towards this realization, we become more calm, peaceful. मतलब थोड़ा सा I think आपका मन शांत हो जाता है और आप slow भी हो जाते हो definitely in your thought process and all. But somehow एक fear रहता है death का. सब मतलब वो रहता ही है. आप जितना मर्जी दूर रहोगे कुछ ना कुछ उससे हम कैसे बाहर आए.
अच्छा तो ये मैं बता
दे-
इसका मतलब you know assumption in your question is that you have self-realized,
हाँ.
okay, but you still have fear.
Yes, at times मतलब नहीं है
Okay.
कभी
So
situation
if you
ऐसी
have
है.
fear, it means you have not self-realized. It can't coexist. Light and darkness cannot coexist. You may be on the journey towards it, but not fully apprehended. So you are still thinking from the standpoint of body, because all these things belong to the physical, emotional, and intellectual domain. So these negative experiences or emotions or anxieties belong to the physical dimension. So you may think you have self-realized, but you may be oscillating between the two. Intellectually, you may think, oh, I know what is Brahman. But still, idea is to completely surrender to that identity. And when you know, it's not, experiences or self-realization is not an event. Understand it very clear in your mind. It's a slow and gradual process. It's like a journey. It's like a river. River travels thousands of miles. So long as it is in its identity as a river, there's a lot of upheaval in it. Isn't it? Think about it. It keeps, you will have, you keep traveling thousands of miles. But when it reaches the sea, it seizes its identity as a river. River no more exists. River gone. With the river, all its nature and behavior gone as well. There's no more turbulence. When river merges with the sea, it becomes sea. Think. When river, so long as it is traveling towards the sea, it retains its identity as a river. And while it is river, it has all these turbulation in it, all this disturbance, all this agitation is going up and down, making a lot of noise. But as soon as the same river, which was experiencing all these ups and downs and turbulations in it, the moment it merges with the sea, it ceases to be a river. It loses its identity. That is so it does not, so water does not evaporate. Nothing happens to it. It just loses its character as a river. It's no more a river. So you can't say, oh, this part of the sea is Ganga, and this part of the sea is Jamna or Saraswati or whatever. No, it all merges. It becomes one with the sea. So whole idea of self-realization, Shilpa Madam, is when you merge, after you merge with it, then nothing that happens to the body, mind, and intellect. Fear is what? Fear happens in the domain of mind. It's a product of mind. So you may think of a fear, but you don't get affected by it. You may think, oh, something may go wrong. Yeah, it might go wrong. So let's put the right corrective measures in place, and that's about it. That's how you will deal with it. So my first response was, if you still experience fear or any negative emotion, it means you are still operating within the realm of body, mind, and intellect. You are still operating as an ego. Because this is the experience of an ego. क्योंकि ब्रह्म में तो कोई change does not take place. Any change doesn't take place. Whether fear, anxiety, or anything, or even death, does not affect it. So when you have fully realized your real nature, then none of these emotions can occur in you. हो ही नहीं सकता. Condition भैया कि you should be identifying with it. You may think you have, but you have this thermometer is there. It is telling you temperature is still rising. Fear, anxiety, anger, all these emotions are happening. And if you're getting embroiled by them, you're getting engaged with them, getting affected by them, it means that you're still operating at the body level. This doesn't mean it's not a disappointment. That's what I said. It's a journey. It's a journey that will continue. The journey has begun, which is a good news. And journey, as you continue on your journey, your experience will begin to alter. You will notice that you have been sharing it. The external world is losing its intensity and its potency to inflict any effect on you. Isn't it? कि पहले ऐसा होता था, अब ऐसा नहीं होता. ठीक है ना? So you are moving in that direction, which is a good news.
So it's a long journey then.
No, it's a journey. Why you want to add these words? So if I say it's a short journey, then what? So it's not about short. So again, this is a mental evaluation. Journey is not short or long. It's a journey. और कहीं हमको ऐसा तो है नहीं कि हमको टाइम फिक्स किया हुआ कि इतने टाइम में सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन. You see, the constant, continuous efforts must continue. Don't worry about it. If Nadi has left the origin, if the journey has commenced, the destination is sea. That is definite. ऐसा थोड़ी ना कि वहां से हिमालय से नदी निकलती है, उसने कहा नहीं अब समुद्र की तरफ नहीं चलते, लेट अस गो टुवर्ड्स हरियाणा. है ना, थोड़ी देर वहां खेलेंगे कुरुक्षेत्र में. इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट. All the waters, the natural instinct in any of water is to find a place of equilibrium. Every object, if it is coming from the high plane, it will definitely be looking for a lower plane. That's the science, equilibrium. कोई भी नेचुरल ऑब्जेक्ट देख लीजिए, नेचुरल एलिमेंट देख लीजिए, दे आर कॉन्स्टेंटली वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स फाइंडिंग एन इक्विलिब्रियम एंड बैलेंस. केमिस्ट्री में भी हमको पढ़ाया जाता है कि जब एलिमेंट्स आपस में मिलते हैं तो दे आर डूइंग इट बिकॉज दे ट्राइंग टू फाइंड द बेस्ट बैलेंस. So their rotation that they're constantly, you know, electron and proton which are going around in circles, they're trying to find something. अब जैसे लोहा है, लोहा इज डेस्परेटली ट्राइंग टू बिकम ए क्या कौन सा ऑक्साइड होता है, फेरन ऑक्साइड वॉट एवर ऑक्साइड. तो उसको वो हवा से मिलके वो जंग हो जाता है बिकॉज वांट टू प्रोटेक्ट इटसेल्फ. So every natural element is working towards its equilibrium to get that balance. So are we. All of us are unconsciously or subconsciously moving in the direction of finding that equilibrium and balance. And that balance will be achieved when you apprehend your real nature. It's very natural phenomena. इसमें कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है, कोई नई चीज थोड़ी ना बताई जा रही है. जितनी भी चीज आप देखो, अब जो प्लांट्स होते हैं, दे आर दे आर क्या बोलते हैं, व्हाट इज द राइट वर्ड, दे आर अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स द सनलाइट. So they come out of the seed and they're constantly working towards reaching as high as they can to the sun, isn't it?
Photosynthesis.
हाँ, वो फोटोसिंथेसिस खैर उसमें होता है, लेकिन जो भी प्रोसेस है, सो दैट प्रोसेस इज गोइंग ऑन. सो ऐसे ही दिस इज a natural, all of us are naturally gravitated towards our real nature. All we are doing is we are accelerating that process by our sincere regular efforts in it. जो लोग एफर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, they might have to die so many times and go through so many lives before they are blessed. People are blessed who are considering self-realization. Forget about जिनको हो गया है. People who are seeking self-realization are the blessed people, because self-realization can only be achieved in the human life, not when you are born as a horse or a pig or a bird. No, you have to, if you don't make good use of this life, then we don't know how many lives you have to go through before you are born again as human. So that is the sense of urgency. We have this life now. And if we don't make good use of this life, then there is no chance. We don't know when we will have that chance. Okay? So that is the urgency. Shilpa, did you get your answer?
Yes, sir.
You're not very confident about the answer. You're
So
satisfied.
no, I am confident about the answer, but मतलब वही है ना सर, it's a journey.
See,
तो वो
ये जो
ऐसे भी हो
fear,
सकता है और ये टाइम भी लग जाता है.
fear is very real because we are still thinking as body. And when we hear these words that you will cease to exist, भाई बॉडी की तो डेस्टिनी पैदा होते ही उसकी डेस्टिनी तय हुई थी ना, उसने तो मरना ही है. बॉडी हैज टू डिसअपियर, बॉडी हैज टू टर्मिनेट इटसेल्फ. वो तो उसकी डेस्टिनी है. बॉडी को तो मरना ही मरना है, उसमें तो कोई दो राय है ही नहीं, वो तो उसकी डेस्टिनी है. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट यू विल सीज टू एग्जिस्ट, so it's not talking about you, the body will cease, body will remain, your identification with the body as you will cease. आपको ये फर्क समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या कह रहा हूं? ये बड़ा समझना जरूरी है. जब कहते हैं कि यू विल सीज टू एग्जिस्ट, इसका मतलब होता है योर आइडेंटिफिकेशन विद द बॉडी, योर आइडिया दैट आई एम बॉडी, दैट आइडिया विल डाई, not your body. So you will remain, you will still wake up in the morning and drink a cup of tea and eat the food and do the yoga and go to work and do all sorts of things. So nothing is changing in that aspect. What is changing is your identification with your body and your belief in your mind that I am the body. That idea will die away, not you. So far as death of the body is concerned, this body is destined to die. भगवान कृष्ण भी आगे नहीं रो सकते, कर लो बात. तो इसकी चिंता करना बेकार है, इसकी तो डेस्टिनी पहले पैदा होते ही लिख दी गई थी कि दिस बॉडी इज वन डे इज गोइंग टू डाई. तो इसकी क्या चिंता करनी भाई? जो जिस चीज ने जाना ही है उसने तो जाना ही है ना. आप कितनी पूजा कर लो, कुछ नहीं होने वाला. दिस बॉडी कैन नॉट बी सेव्ड विथ एनी काइंड ऑफ प्रैक्टिस. ये आप समझ लीजिए. तो इसकी चिंता व्यर्थ है. शरीर जी.
I want to add something.
हाँ प्लीज बोलिए.
सर ये जो फियर ऑफ डेथ है,
जी.
ये मतलब अगर मैं देखूं अपने हिसाब से, मतलब अपनी नॉलेज के हिसाब से देखूं, तो 4-5 साल पहले ऐसा नहीं था. मैं
हाँ.
बहुत सीरियस बीमार भी पड़ी थी, मैं एडमिट भी हुई थी, बट आई हैड नो फियर ऑफ डेथ. ऐसा कुछ भी
अच्छी
नहीं
बात.
था. मतलब ऐसा था कि शायद मेरे घर वालों को बोला गया था कि थोड़ा और लेट आते तो काफी कुछ इधर उधर हो जाता, बट मेरे को ऐसा नहीं था. मैं ट्रीटमेंट करके वापस आ गई. बट ये पोस्ट कोविड, ये शायद एक्सेस ऑफ स्ट्रेस की वजह से अभी भी ऐसा नहीं लगता कि ठीक है मरना तो है ही. बट कभी कभी जब कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन आती है जहां पे आप मतलब डर जाते हो, तब ये फियर आ रहा है जो पहले नहीं आता था 3-4 साल पहले.
अच्छा.
तो ये कैसे, मतलब अपने आप से कैसे आ गया मतलब?
नहीं, अपने आप से कुछ नहीं होता. अपने आप से क्या आ गया? इट्स ऑलवेज देयर. यू आर एंटरटेनिंग दैट फियर, यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट इट. आता वाता कहाँ से? आना थोड़ी ना होता कहीं से, कोई चीज कहीं से थोड़ी ना आती है. इससे व्हाट इज फियर एक्चुअली देखा जाए, अगर उसका आप सिंथेसाइज करो या एनालिसिस करो, फियर है क्या? होता क्या है फियर? फियर थॉट ही तो होता है. इट्स अ थॉट. इसके अलावा क्या है? फियर एक वो थॉट है which is making you believe that something might happen in the future. यही तो फियर है ना. फ्यूचर का मतलब ये नहीं कि 50 साल बाद. फ्यूचर इज नेक्स्ट सेकंड, नेक्स्ट मिनट, नेक्स्ट घंटा, नेक्स्ट दिन,
नेक्स्ट मोमेंट.
नेक्स्ट हफ्ता. एनीथिंग नेक्स्ट इज फ्यूचर. So your thought is making you believe that something might go wrong or something may not happen as expected. If this happens, then what might go wrong? यही तो फियर है. अब ये ना हो, इसकी तैयारी में हम लोग अभी से व्यस्त हो जाते हैं, only to find nothing happened.
तो पहले पर ये था ही नहीं. कुछ भी करते थे, कहीं जाते थे, ट्रैवलिंग
नहीं,
कर रहे हैं,
ऐसा होता है
दिमाग में
कि
आता ही
कभी.
नहीं था.
हाँ नहीं, अच्छी बात है, नहीं आता ना, कभी कभी नहीं आता है, अच्छी बात है. और है भी तो यू जस्ट इग्नोर इट. भाई कोई भी थॉट आपको तब तक आनंद देगा या परेशानी देगा जब आप उसके साथ एंगेज हो जाओगे. तो अगर पहले नहीं आता था, उसका एक्सप्लेन ये, यू नॉट एंगेजिंग विद दिस थॉट. थॉट आया होगा, आपने कहा लेट कम ऑन लेट्स गो, हु केयर्स, आई एम गोइंग टू हैव ए जंप इट, यू नो व्हाट.
मे बी
Because-
कोविड पीरियड में बहुत ज्यादा हम लोगों ने उस पे थॉट
हाँ
थिंकिंग करी
एग्जैक्टली
कि बीमारी
बिकॉज
है, उससे मर जाएंगे या बीमार
अब घर
होएंगे।
में बैठे हुए हैं, दवाई और खाना खाने के अलावा कोई काम था नहीं सबके पास।
हाँ, मे बी इस वजह से कि वो पूरा
तो
कंसंट्रेशन ही
एंड
वहां पे हो
ऑल यू
गया।
आर हियरिंग एवरी डे, वो मर गया, वो मर गया, फलाना मर गया,
हाँ,
ढिमामा
वो
मर गया, नीचे वाला मर
रोज
गया,
डर
ऊपर
में ही
वाला मर
रहते
गया,
थे।
साइड वाला।
सर वो
एग्जैक्टली
आप बता दो ना, एक्सपीरियंस से हमारा पर्सपेक्टिव वो एक बन जाती है, धारणा बन जाती है, सुन
क्योंकि वो
सुन के
थॉट आपके मन में आ
thought
रहा है
रहता है। हाँ।
एंड यू आर एंटरटेनिंग दैट थॉट। मोर यू एंटरटेन, मोर हॉरिफाइंग
फॉर्म
इट
हो जाएगा।
फील्स। हाँ वो मतलब it will start affecting you. See, the moment you attach with a thought, whatever is the nature of the thought, you will be affected by that nature. चाहे वो fear है, चाहे वो enjoyment है या excitement है, whatever is the nature of the thought, you will experience it. सिंपल सी फॉर्मूला है। तो ये इसमें कोई डेस्टिनी पेस्टिनी ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है। इस द एंटायर एक्सपीरियंस जो भी हम लाइफ में एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं, वॉट एवर आई एम एक्सपीरियंसिंग लाइफ इज नथिंग बट द मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ माई ओन थॉट्स which are coming in front of me. My thoughts are manifesting in front of me. आप देख लीजिए, आप अपनी लाइफ को इवैल्यूएट करके देख लीजिए। वेन एवर यू थिंक लाइक एनी वे, विच एवर वे यू थिंक, दैट विल हैपन इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू। योर थॉट्स विल मैनिफेस्ट देमसेल्व्स। ये तो बड़ी कॉमन नॉलेज है, साइंस है, कि जो भी हमारी लाइफ में अब तक हुआ है, it is squarely the result of my thoughts and actions in the past. इसको बैठ के इसके ऊपर चिंतन मनन कीजिए कि क्या ये सही है, एंड यू विल फाइंड इट इज एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट। इस बात से
सर,
आपको चिंता भी हो सकती है, and then you can spend a lot of time in the past ki what if I should have done, I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have done this. You can't do anything, it's gone. So why waste your time in the past? So wise people who are on this journey, they learn to keep their mind focused in the present. They don't allow their mind to go in the past and unnecessarily roam around in the graveyard. It's a graveyard of that time. And equally, they do not, and go and wander in a zone which is not even born yet. Future is a time which is not, is waiting to, waiting to born. It's not born yet. भविष्य भी आए थोड़ी ना आएगा। तो जो भी आने वाला है उसमें अपनी क्यों मेंटल एनर्जी में बर्बाद करूं? होगा तो होगा, देखा जाएगा। All you can do is just take some corrective measures and that's it. और बेसिकली तो हम उसको डिफ्यूज करने की कोशिश ही नहीं करते। फियर को, फियर मन में आया एंड वी सिंपली टेक ए जंप, ऐसा होगा, वैसा होगा, फलाना होगा, ढिमाग। भाई व्हाट इज द लॉजिकल कनेक्शन बिटवीन दिस थॉट एंड व्हाट माइट हैपन? और जब होगा तब की तब देखेंगे ना। तो इस पॉइंट से लेके वो वाले पॉइंट तक अपने आप को स्ट्रेस, एंजाइटी और ये सब चीजों से सफर करने की क्या जरूरत है? बट इफ यू डोंट बिकम इंटेलिजेंट देन यू विल कंटिन्यू टू सफर। So the whole idea of this study is to live an intelligent life. Be mindful. Don't entertain any negative thoughts. That is the idea. और इवेंचुअली तो चित्त शुद्धि का प्रोग्राम है। जितने भी अपने ये जो हमारी वासनाएं हैं, जिनको कि इन कॉमन साइकोलॉजी में कहते हैं बिलीफ सिस्टम, ऑल माई मिजरीज ऑफ लाइफ आर erupting out of my belief system, whatever I think I am. जो भी आपको अपने बारे में आइडिया है, और सबसे कॉमन जो है वो जब भी मैं आई टॉक अबाउट दिस थिंग, दैट इज द लो सेल्फ एस्टीम. You have evaluated yourself as inferior being based on your experiences in the past. It is the misapprehension. कि I am not good, I am not intelligent, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me. So these are belief systems that are consolidated in your mind, are the cause of everything that I'm experiencing and suffering today. आई बात समझ में? तो ये जो हमारे बिलीफ सिस्टम्स हैं, इन्हीं को रिमूव करना है. Why? Because all these belief systems are based on perceptions. What you thought about yourself in the past, that thought you have consolidated with subsequent experiences, corresponding experiences, and brought yourself to believe that what you thought is correct. It's a thought. So you are being played by your own thoughts. You are being harassed by your own thoughts. There is no reality in it, except the fact that you believe in it. आप अपने विश्वासों पे विश्वास करते हो, इसके अलावा इसमें और कोई सच्चाई नहीं है. There is no reality in it. It's a perception. Perception is a product of the joint working of your body, mind, and intellect. It's a creation of your mind. So if it is a creation of your mind, it can't be real. It's a perception. You think what it is. You don't see the reality. You see the perception of reality. So जो भी आपको अपने बारे में आइडिया है, जो भी आप सोचते हो, आप मैं ऐसी, मैं वैसी, मैं फलानी, मैं डिमाकी, जो भी whatever your idea, all I'm telling you is all that ideas are false notions, whether they're good or bad. I'm excellent at this, I'm excellent. These are all false ideas. So these false ideas have to be eradicated with their roots. And this process of eradicating these vasanas from the ground of your mind, जो अपने माइंड का ग्राउंड है, तो these are weeds which are grown up into that garden of your mind. So the body, so the ground has to be tilled or tilled, whichever way it is the right way to say it. And all these weeds have to be removed with their roots. Because if you leave the roots, the weed will grow again. तो ये जो प्रोसेस होता है, इस प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं चित्त शुद्धि निरोध. सॉरी, चित्त वृत्ति निरोध. चित्त शुद्धि तो प्रोसेस है. चित्त वृत्ति निरोध, process whereby you stop creating these vasanas and eradicate them. That is the idea. और वो करने से होगा, कथा सुनने से नहीं होगा. You have to start this process of self recovery, self redemption. तो ये जो एक लो सेल्फ एस्टीम is a group of all these negative notions that you have about yourself. तो वो जो धीरे धीरे करके जो आइडियाज है ना, आई एम नॉट कॉम्पिटेंट, आई एम नॉट गुड एट दिस, आई एम कांट डू दिस, आई एम नॉट दिस, आई एम दिस, आई एम दैट, आई एम थिन, आई एम फैट, आई एम शॉर्ट, आई एम डार्क, आई एम ब्राइट, whatever those ideas, they're all ideas. There's no reality in it. The only reality is that you are Sat Chit Anand. Anything else that you believe about yourself is wrong or misapprehension, miscalculation, misinterpretation, call it whatever. Anything which is not Sat Chit Anand is wrong about you. That is the reality. Sat Chit Anand. If you have any other belief system or any thought that you hold in your mind, which is other than these three, are unreal, wrong, misapprehension. Your perceptions that you have created and consolidated into belief. You may have 20,000 examples to support this idea that you hold about yourself. Why do you think you are good for nothing? You may have 10,000 examples to support it. So even if you have 10,000 examples from your life to support this idea that you're good for nothing, but what you are doing is you're only confirming a perception. भैया एक परसेप्शन को तो कंफर्म कर रहे हो, तो परसेप्शन तो अपने आप में अनरियल है. Perception is nothing but the creation of mind. Your mind has made you believe that you're good for nothing. It's an intellectual idea. So if it is an intellectual idea, it means it came out of your intellect. So anything that is coming out of unreal, how could it be real? Anything that comes out of your intellect, which is unreal by itself. So how can an unreal thing give birth to a real thing? How can a permanent thing come out of impermanent thing? सोच के देखो. तो इसके पीछे तो कोई लॉजिक ही नहीं है. ऐसा मानना कि आई एम लेस देन परफेक्ट. If you believe you are less than perfect, it is a misapprehension. Sorry. You can't be less than perfect. You are perfect. You are content. You don't need anything. You are the very source of happiness. That is the nature of Brahman. If you have any other idea about yourself, believe you me, at the end of studying Gita and all 700 verses, you will come to this conclusion. So why not arrive at now? Anything which is less than perfect about you, it is not you. This is just a perception, a creation of your mind, creation of your intellect, intellectual idea. So your mind have concluded yourself to be of certain type. And with subsequent experience, you have consolidated that idea and you now believe that idea to be real. तो ये सारी एक्टिविटी जो है ये मेंटल और इंटेलेक्चुअल एक्टिविटीज तो है. You are thinking, you're observing, finding consolidating evidences for it, and then concluding, oh, yeah, that is true. I'm not capable. I can't do this. Yes, that is very right. I know it. These are all mental and intellectual activities. They're all perceptions. There's no reality in it. तो ये जो चित्त शुद्धि का काम है, ये ही इंपॉर्टेंट काम है. और मैंने शायद आपको पहली बार ही बताया था कि दिस इज द होल आइडिया. जो पतंजलि का जो योग सूत्र है, उसमें उन्होंने ये जो अष्टांग योग बताया वो चित्त शुद्धि का कार्यक्रम ही है. चित्त शुद्धि. तो चित्त शुद्धि का कार्यक्रम शुरू कर देना चाहिए आप लोगों को. और कोई बड़ा रॉकेट साइंस वाला काम नहीं है. जब भी आपके मन में एक जस्ट सिट डाउन, स्पेंड सम टाइम विद योरसेल्फ, make a list of all those negative thoughts and ideas that you have about yourself, what you think you are, what you have been thinking, how you have been thinking about yourself. जो भी आपके आइडिया है कि आई एम नॉट दिस, आई एम वीक एट दिस, आई एम नॉट गुड एट दिस, पीपल डोंट लाइक मी, पीपल this is not good about me, all these kind of rubbish that you have been entertaining in your mind, just make a list of those things. Make a corresponding positive statement and then use association to keep reminding yourself. अगर आपको लगता है आप खूबसूरत नहीं है, then you say कि I am beautiful. अगर आपको लगता है you are weak, जैसे I am strong. आपको आपको लगता है आई एम नॉट कॉम्पिटेंट से आई एम कॉम्पिटेंट. If you think people don't love you, say everybody loves you. If you think you make mistake, you say, whatever I do it to the best of my knowledge. तो जब आप इन पॉजिटिव ऑटोसिएशंस के ऊपर काम करना शुरू करोगे ऑन ए रेगुलर बेसिस consistently over a period of time, these negative ideas will disappear. Why? You will collect lot of positive experiences as a result of this autosation. So that will disappear. So as these negative thoughts die their death, your negative experience will also start to reduce, and you will begin to enjoy life. And that will give you confidence that these techniques are working. The only downside is I can only share with you what it is. I can't do it for you. So you have to do it. ठीक है? तो आज की सभा यहीं समाप्त करते हैं. And we will resume on Friday. ठीक है? So let us do the प्रार्थना. ॐ कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा. हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा. हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. चलिए, थैंक यू.